Well, finally, the Guinness Book of World Records announced this week that Gul Mohammed of New Delhi, at 22.8 inches tall, is the shortest man in the world to have Eddie Murphy's head.
One time when I had my sitcom, the showrunner goes, "Why don't we have a big star every week do the cold opening?" And I go, "Oh, sure, yeah." And he goes, "You can get big stars, right?" I'm like, "No, I can't get anyone." And when they go, "We got Eddie Murphy on the phone." I'm like, "Why? What?" And they're like, "Yeah, for the cold opening." And I go, "What cold opening?" And so they hand me this script, So I'm talking to Eddie Murphy, and I don't know Eddie Murphy. And he's being like super zen-like, He's an amazing guy because he's like all zen and peaceful. And then he tells a story and it's hysterical. Like all of a sudden he's doing voices. Because he was talking about being a director and he goes real peacefully, He's like the directors in Hollywood it's very tough to find one. Frank Oz was magnificent, but I was very unhappy with the other directors. Finally, I had to direct myself. I directed Harlem Nights. And the Red Fox was in it. And so Red Fox came to the show once and he was having trouble with the IRS and he owed all this money. So he kept trying to sell me things. And he would come to the set and he would go. And then all of a sudden, he's super funny, right? After doing this real flat voice. And he goes, and then Red Fox would say, "Hey, Eddie, you like Elvis? I got Elvis's watch. How'd you like to buy Elvis's watch? Elvis, give me this watch." So I said to him, "Hey, Red, how long have you had Elvis's watch?" He said, "I had it for 40 years. I go, "That's not Elvis's watch. That's Red Fox's watch. I ain't buying Red Fox's fucking watch." So he's like super funny. And then he'd go back again to being zen-like. So I said, so as I'm talking to him, I'm leafing through this fucking awful fucking shit of a cold opening that they're having him do. And so it's like, white guys writing for black guys, what they think they'd say is just awfully, horribly racist. And so he says to me, he goes, I'll do it. If you tell me it's funny, I'll do it. And I go, it's not funny.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what else to do.
So I was calling because I wanted to get your take on Eddie Murphy hosting the Oscars. I think you're like the funniest SNL guy ever, and I just wanted to know what you thought about Eddie hosting.
Well, I think Eddie is unbelievably funny. Like, I always loved Eddie, and I couldn't be happier that he's hosting the Oscars. Obviously, last year, the Oscars were the worst hosts ever, There's Anne Hathaway.
And
James Franco.
And I think they tied for worst ever.
I think they did, yeah.
But
he might have been
Eddie,
a little worse, just a little. Because at least she's nice
she
to
was
look at.
trying a little bit.
She was trying, yeah.
But Eddie, what I like is because Eddie's become a little like Zen-like and so forth. He's a very intelligent guy, and he's stepped back a little from the crazy Eddie of old and stuff. And I think this is going to burst him back to the incredibly funny Eddie Murphy. And I can't wait to see it, man. I would write for that. I would write if anybody's listening in the Eddie Murphy camp.
There's a big camp.
I will write for that show.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
'Cause I love Eddie Murphy.
I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
It's been so long since you've seen him be really funny, too.
And I was like
great.
amazed by Eddie Murphy when I saw him, because not when I saw him, but later on, because when you're a stand-up, it takes a long time to get funny. But he did it instantly. Like, he was the only guy I've ever seen.
Right.
When he was 19, he was funny.
Hilarious.
And he was he knew he was funny, and he was confident. And I've never seen anything like that from a young person.
Yeah.
Have you? Can you think of a single other person?
Well, that young, no.
In comedy?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he started doing stand-up when he was like 16 or something, right? So by the time he was on SNL, he'd already, done that. I guess.
Think of when you were 16 to 19, that stuff you thought was funny. You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
I don't think anybody would have thought it was funny.
No.
It's not funny to throw eggs at houses. That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny, but it's not get up on stage funny.
I know, exactly.
Yeah. And he was a man.
Yeah.
He was
19.
Oh, yeah.
A man. A star.
Oh, I know.
I talked to him one time. because I had a TV show, and the guy I did the TV show with, he goes, "Why don't you get your friends to be on the show?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, just pretend, you know. I'm not Eddie Murphy's friend." Anyways, I never met him, and he's like, one day he's like, "Hey, we got Eddie on the phone," and they put Eddie Murphy on the phone with me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm talking to him, and then I'm trying to talk him into. I'm supposed to talk him into doing this thing on the show. And I read it, and it's all racist and everything. You know? It's like what a bunch of white guys would think a black guy would say or something like that.
Oh, God.
So anyways, I was talking to Eddie, and he was very nice to me, and he said, "Listen," I said, "I got this thing, I can send it to you." And he goes, "You don't have to send it to me." He goes, "If you think it's funny, I will do it."
Wow.
Wow.
That's a compliment.
And then I said, "I don't think you should do it."
Really?
But that
I
was
couldn't-
good. No,
I couldn't
no,
bring
yeah.
myself
If he
to
had
do
that
it.
much confidence in you, and you had sent him something
You
bad,
don't want to let him down.
I
Right?
understand that.
Yeah.
You don't want to let him down.
But he's the greatest. I can't wait for the Oscars.
Eddie Murphy was going to do a skit on Bill Cosby on the 40th, and they didn't do it, right?
That's right. That's correct. Yeah.
Was that a good decision?
By Eddie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a good decision. He was Eddie is like no other comic I've ever met.
In what way?
He doesn't find it necessary to be funny when he's, but all of a sudden he can be explosively funny when you're talking to him. But
Chris-
he's sort of a Zen guy, you know, very calm, and maybe out of that when he springs out of that into, you know, this incendiary, incredible force of comedy, it makes it even funnier.
On Saturday Night Live on the 40th reunion show, 40th anniversary show, right? Eddie Murphy was supposed to play Bill Cosby. Is
Yes,
that right?
that's, well, we wanted him to play Bill Cosby, yes.
And he didn't want to. What was
Yes.
that about?
Well, he thought that all the facts were not in at that point. The documents had yet to be unsealed, and so being a big fan of due process, he decided it not proper to assume guilt. So I thought it was very admirable because it would have got a huge laugh, you know, him doing Bill Cosby, and I thought it was kind of cool that he went. He doesn't need laughter. He's kind of a Zen-like guy, you know.
Do you?
When you talk to him, he's very calm, and then all of a sudden he'll burst forth with the funniest thing you've ever heard, and then he returns to his equanimous state. It's very interesting to see.
How do you figure out how much to share about what goes on behind the scenes at SNL? Because I know that you were talking about Eddie not doing Bill Cosby on Howard Stern's show, and Seth Meyers wasn't crazy about that. He came out about the Ellen and said, I wouldn't have told that story.
Seth Meyers said that?
Yeah, he said, do we have the quote here? Just bring up the quote. He said, I wouldn't have told it. I feel the same way. I think when you're at SNL, you're seeing so many different things behind the scenes. There are often things to give away that are yours to give away. Norm played it in a way that is very Norm Macdonald. And he went on to praise you, but I don't know what that means. I mean, how do you choose what to reveal and what not to reveal, what to share and what not to share about an institution as powerful as SNL?
I always think, what would Seth Meyers do? It's ridiculous.